Your biggest goal for 2026? It's a lie, and it's going to fail you. Let me guess what you wrote down. This year, you're going to make $100,000, maybe even a million, or you're finally going to get your dream body, or finally start the dream business, or get the million Instagram followers. And you made the vision board, you bought the planner, and you watched all the manifestation videos, right? But you know what's actually going to happen? By March, you'll have fallen off. By June, you'll be burnt out, wondering what's wrong with yourself. And by December, you'll be writing the exact same goal again. I know this because that was me for 4 years straight. 4 years of January optimism turned into December disappointment. And on the first day of this year, I finally came to a realization that I think I've always known deep down, but honestly was too afraid to admit to myself, which was this. My goals were way too big. Not because there's anything wrong with dreaming big, but because my goals had become fantasies instead of something that I could actually build toward. And I think you're doing the same thing. So let me tell you something that no one else will. Your goal is a lie and it's setting you up to fail. You're not setting goals, you're creating fantasies. And fantasies feel good to think about, but they don't actually demand anything of you. Goals do. When you write down $1 million year, but you never made 10K, that's a fantasy. Not because it's impossible, but because you don't have a bridge that can connect you from where you are to where you want to be. It's like you're standing on one side of a canyon saying you're going to get to the other side by December, but there's no bridge. You only have the belief that if you think about it hard enough, affirm it loudly enough, or visualize it clearly enough, that you'll magically teleport to the other side. Listen, I'm not anti-manifestation, but I am against using manifestation as a substitute for building something real. Because that's what we've been doing. We spend all our time in an imagined future that we concocted in our minds, while our reality never changes. And even when you do put in the work, you work out, you post the content, you start the business, nothing changes. Why? Because deep down, you know you're chasing something unrealistic. It's easier to plan than it is to execute. To sit in Notion organizing your life, to make Pinterest boards of our dream aesthetic, to imagine ourselves already there than it is to be on the actual boring, hard, messy journey to actually get there. Listen, I spent more time in the state of the wish fulfilled than I did in the state of actually putting in the work. And you know what? The wish never got fulfilled because I was operating in Fantasyland. So here's what I decided this year. I'm no longer entertaining wishful thinking. Those big goals, they're still on my long-term vision. They just aren't my target for this year. Listen, I'm not saying don't dream big. I'm not saying don't visualize, and I'm not saying don't manifest. But what I am saying is this. Don't only dream. Don't only visualize. Don't only manifest, because you know what happens when you only do those things? You build this beautiful illusion in your mind while your reality stays the exact same. You spend all your energy in your imagination than you do in your actual execution. And then December comes by and nothing's changed and you end up blaming yourself. You'll say things like, I guess I didn't believe hard enough. I guess my vibration wasn't high enough. Or I guess I had too many limiting beliefs. No. The problem wasn't your belief system. The problem was that you had no system at all. We all want to jump straight to the finish line. Zero to millionaire, couch to six pack, nobody to somebody. And listen, I get it. Because everywhere you look, everyone seems to be doing it. The 22-year-old who makes $50K a month, the girl who went from 0 to 100K followers in 6 months, the successful entrepreneur who made 7 figures in their first year. So you think, if they can do it, so can I. And you should be able to. You're smart, you're capable. So why is it that you keep starting and stopping? Here's the truth no one wants to talk about. We're trying to jump from A to Z while skipping all the letters in between. And all the content you consumed has only reinforced this delusion. They're telling you the dream instead of being honest about what it actually takes. You want to know the truth? You need to dial it back. Instead of trying to jump from A to Z, let's make 2026 about getting to point B. That's it. A to B. Because here's what we forget. Everyone started somewhere. All the creators you watch, the successful people you admire, they all had humble beginnings. And this for me was so hard to grasp because I had so much pride. I thought I was so different, so special, so smart. And I would sit here and think, well, it took them like 5 years. For me, it'll take me just one. But I'm learning the hard way that you have to start from somewhere. You can't go from couch to marathon without running the mile first. You can't ignore the awkward part in the middle where you're learning. So let's stop pretending that we're the exception and let's make this year the year that we build the foundation. Everything else comes later. Let's just focus on getting from point A to B. And I know what you're thinking, but Tomi, starting small feels like I'm settling, like I'm giving up. But you're not giving up on your dreams. You're giving them a fighting chance. Because right now, Your dreams don't have a foundation to stand on. There's a parable in the Bible that I love. It's the parable of the wise and the foolish builder. And it basically goes like this. The wise man built his house on rock. When the storm came, it stood. The foolish man built his house on sand. When the storm came, it fell with a great crash. Your big goals, that's the house on sand. They look pretty on your vision board. They sound impressive when you tell other people. But the moment life gets hard, and it will, the moment the algorithm changes, and it will, the moment motivation disappears, and it will, the moment you face rejection, and you will, they crumble because you never built a foundation for it to stand on. Yet time and time again, we try to build on sand expecting it to survive the storm. So let's build differently this year. Not a house that looks impressive, but a foundation that can actually hold weight. If your goal is financial freedom, then yes, write down the number. But then ask yourself, what's the system I need to build to make this possible? What's the small, tangible goal that I can actually achieve this year? Not the fantasy, the real goal. The one that kind of makes you think it's not that impressive. Because saying I'm going to work out 3 times a week doesn't sound as impressive as I'm going to get my dream body. Or saying I'm going to read a book every month doesn't sound as impressive as I'm going to become a genius. But those boring goals are what build the foundation. Those boring goals are what make the big goals possible later on. Because you can't make a million if you never made 10K. You can't build your dream body if you never built the habit of showing up. Let's build the consistency this year. Let's build the reps. Let's start the track record. Because otherwise, you start the year with all this hype saying, I'm gonna change my life. And then you fall off again, like last year, all hype, no action, all fantasy with no foundation. This is the math that separates those who change from those who stay stuck. 1% better every day is 37 times better in 1 year. Not 365% better, but 3,700% better. That's the power of compound interest. So 1 workout every week is 52 workouts per year. That's a transformed body. 1 book per month is 12 books in a year. That's a transformed mind. $10 saved per day is $3,650 in a year. That's a transformed bank account. Small actions compound over time. And if you don't believe me, look at every overnight success that you admire. Alex Hormozy didn't blow up overnight. He built a brick and mortar gyms for 6 years before anyone knew his name. Mr. Beast didn't go viral on video 1. He posted hundreds of videos that no one watched for years. Myron Golden, my favorite entrepreneur, loves to say that he was an overnight success, but it was a 14-year night. That's the truth no one wants to hear. Your overnight success is going to take time, but guess what? Those years are going to go by anyway. So you can either spend them starting over every January or building in the dark. Because when your moment comes, and it will, the only question is, will you have built the foundation that can handle it? Or will you be like I was, unprepared, unqualified, and unable to execute? So here's what I want you to do. Take your biggest goal for 2026 and cut it in half. Then cut it in half again. That's your new goal. Less exciting? Yes. Less impressive? Absolutely. Feel like you're thinking too small? Great, you're on the right track. Now ask yourself, what's the system I need to build to support this goal? Not just I want to make 10K this year, but what's the system I need to build that can actually make 10K inevitable? So if you want to build a business this year, your system could be posting a piece of content every week for 52 weeks. If your goal is to transform your body, your system could look like working out 3 times a week every week, or tracking what you eat every week. If your goal is to transform your mind, your system could be reading a book every month or learning a new skill every quarter. See, these goals aren't impressive, but they're real, and real goals create real results. Listen, nobody's going to applaud you for your boring, unsexy goals, but when December comes, you won't be writing the same goals again. You'll be looking back at a year of reps, a year of showing up consistently. And that's something that nobody can take away from you. Because the woman you're becoming isn't waiting, she's building, brick by brick, day by day. And that woman, that's you. Not someday, but today. Okay, and that's it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this blessed you and inspired you. And I'm so proud of you guys for being here, for wanting to change, for being honest and acknowledging where you currently are. That takes a lot of courage, and I'm really proud of you guys. And if there's one thing you could do for me, it would be this. Comment down below what your foundation goal is using this format. Instead of big fantasy goal, I'm committing to small foundation goal. So, for example, for me, instead of trying to make $1 million this year, I'm committing to building stability and consistency by posting a video every week for 52 weeks. Okay, let's build together. So share what your goals are. Let's cheer each other on. I'm reading every single comment because I want to be here to support you guys. So share your thoughts and comments down below. And as always, my name is Tomi, and I will see you guys in the next video. Okay, bye.